straight into the wins. How about that, hey? Who's got something that they've won at in the last 7 days? Or since we last saw you? Some of you we haven't seen since last year.
I had a nice holiday with my family, so yeah, that was a great win for me. Back on Monday, and yeah, getting started again.
Beautiful, beautiful. Holidays are vitally important, especially to all South Africans, eh, Rob?
Was it this group that I said in last Friday about the social media thing that I saw? Is what was it? Forgive me, but this is the message said. South Africa is a unique country. It's the only country on earth where people think they can take a month off work and not go bankrupt.
Nice. Okay, but I'm sure Francois wasn't risking any kind of bankruptcy. So
no.
Well-deserved holiday for the man. Christoph, what about you?
No, we started off, I would say, quite busy already. First day last week, actually, it was quite busy. So yeah, it's looking good. It looked like the staff were keen to get back into it and get going, and yeah, so it looks like we'll fully busy again, and it's like we have not been closed at all. But yeah, so I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Almost like you've got a running business going very well for you.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's looking good for us. Yeah, we're positive, and there's a lot to look forward. Actually, I spoke to Joel Collins last week, Friday. So we've got an agreement for him as our ambassador. So he says there were just 2 small things he wanted to change on our agreement, which should be his team will contact me this week to get it done, and then he's on board as our ambassador. Yeah. Actually, formally, then, yeah.
That's amazing. Very nice. Congratulations.
No, thanks.
Lovely. Eugene, what about you? What big wins?
I think our biggest thing was we had a mission to Ghana last week, Thursday, Friday. Also, that was quite well. Had some gnarly weather when we came back on Friday afternoon. Area was giving us some issues, but it was good fun. Proper
Beautiful
Africa adventure with dirty bedding and no restaurant and things at the hotel. So yeah, it was it's fun now. Looking back.
You made it out, and hopefully no communicable or bug bite type diseases. Hey.
Yeah, we're still so far so good.
They brought some friends with.
Lovely. How about you, JJ?
Yeah, but we're all good. Our win is that we have not been overthrown yesterday and overwhelmed with phone calls and emergencies and those type of things. So everything that we've put in place last year to make sure that there's a smooth start to the year has worked well so far. I was really expecting us to be completely overwhelmed yesterday, because that most of our customers started yesterday already. And yeah, by 11, 12 o'clock, I was looking at my watch and I said, "Whoa, it's not 4 o'clock yet," and I'm still standing. So very chuffed.
Nice one. What would you put that down to, JJ?
Just proper planning, making sure that all the right processes are in place. Backups and those type of things. We've had here or there that someone got hit by lightning and that type of things, which obviously you can't stop from happening completely. But proper planning, making sure that things are in place. And then obviously, 26 years worth of experience, knowing what to expect when everyone gets back to work.
Nothing like it. Congratulations. Lovely. Frans Smith, you like dinge daar by jou. Wat sê jy? What say you, young man?
He's standing outside on the balcony, looking out in Cape Town and, not hearing anything.
You are unmuted, but we can't hear you.
It's too windy in Gordon's Bay. That's what the problem is, and he's being blown off the balcony that JJ said he would be on.
That's it. That's it. France, will come back to you. Rob, tell us, what have you won at? How many more people have you employed?
I had a new full-time employee start yesterday, which is that's very cool. Quite senior actually as well, which is now I've got 3 senior employees in the business and then 5 junior, which is quite cool. And the big win is I'm finally making enough profit to employ this girl, Rebecca, or lady, Rebecca. She's not a girl. She's a girl to me because she's like 33, which seems incredibly young as I'm 50, almost 50. But nevertheless, I've finally got the money to go and pay somebody to help me, like reverse engineer building the foundation of the business. And it's, in honesty, a lot of it, as we've grown it, has been held together with duct tape, mostly because you're trying something, see if it works. If it doesn't work, throw it to one side, like unstick the tape, try something else, put something else there, put the tape on. And after 16 months worth of customer feedback and, you know, unstick it, put a new box in, re-stick the box in, so on and so forth, I finally feel like we've got some, like we know what the boxes are and they don't need to be stuck in with duct tape anymore. We can concrete them in as permanent. And yeah, so to have her on board, she's a systems and processes engineer with a master's degree in it, in business engineering. And to have her come in to start building all of that base level infrastructure of all of our systems, processes, which is actually a bit where we're going to start today, but where that leads to and how it all works. And that is, oh, and then I've got a guy who's doing 10 hours a week as my sort of tech guy. And he's working with her to do all of the tech side of all of that development as well. So integrated sales journeys, CRM for the sales guys, marketing, blah, blah, blah. And that's most of our businesses will fall apart if we push too much through them. And so for me, being able to now, I think within 3 months, we might be able to onboard 500 clients a week if we wanted to globally. And to do that without the wheels falling off is a ginormous win. So that, just the start of that journey yesterday when they started working for us was incredible.
Beautiful. I think so often we think about, or I have in the past, of like, I need to go back and restructure this and audit all of these things and, you know, go and like redo what seems already glued and structured or like baked in. And if we could just go back and unwhittle it a little bit and strengthen it as a foundation would be so beneficial to our businesses. So yeah, that's a nice step. Well done.
So that's anyway, I just need to be brave and absorb another big salary every month that I don't like doing that. But I said don't like doing that. It's non-income generating at the moment, and that's
yeah, scary. France, do you want to give it another go? Give us a win. See if your sound's working now. I'll tell you when we can start hearing you. Still no.
Oh dear.
Put it in the chat if you can. I'm going to go ahead then. My win for the week was that I did a run and I managed to. There we go. We can hear you. Yeah. Still a bit soft, but I can hear you.
Oh, that's France.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't know why it's soft. But anyway, what's it like now? Still good, still bad, terrible. Can't hear me.
No, we couldn't hear you at all earlier. Now we can.
Okay. Goeiemorgen, mannen. Hoe lyk dit?
Baie goed, dankie.
Baie
Do you want
drankies.
to go with your win?
Yeah, France.
Hello, who's a broer? Happy New Year. All the friendly, fresh faces. Hope you guys are ready for a long one. Rest it up. So okay, wins. So we pivoted quite a bit into the year for the guys that went on the last ball. Pivoted quite a lot out of the, like, let's say, training kind of space I was wiggling into. Because I kind of realized, for the feedback from all the boot camps and stuff was overwhelmingly, we don't have time to do this. So it's almost like I was showing the guys how to do everything, and they don't want that. They actually just want someone to do it. Like, come in, do it, and just give me an bullet point form what you've done. Like, that's actually what the guys want. So yeah, changed it completely up and been like hardcore building with a proper developer. Rob, you were talking about finally being able to afford is kind of the same thing, like proper developer to build it. And the idea is to really install an operating system, so like FMS, Christoph, you'll know what that is, but instead of a flight management system, financial management system, which I think is quite nice, bit of wordplay there as well. But basically, building it in a way, and it's quite advanced already. I'm doing a sneak peek for like the inner circle on Thursday, but it's basically, the guy can answer maybe 10 questions and as like the onboarding process, and that will give him his entire financial planning road map with targets, vectors, what to do next, how to do it, looking at all the gaps. But it's a very quick, intuitive way, and like almost like an app that they can keep with himself. And whenever changes happens, he can just update it live and eventually get it to a place where on all buying decisions, he's got his app on his phone. And then, an example I'm kind of going with is before you buy that car, you can literally take a photo of the car. And it'll tell you, hey, but 3 blocks down the road, there's a similar one for 100,000 Rand less, and what difference that 100,000 Rand would make to getting you to your dream goal. So the whole idea is the current reality versus like future reality, like where you want, and it's to narrow that gap as quickly as possible, get you there as quickly as possible. And this time it's quite nice. We jumping in right at the beginning, just completely focusing on the dream outcome. And I think for a lot of people, maybe some guys on this call as well, but I think for most people, we don't spend enough time on what the dream outcome looks like. Like, why is it, it's like some people call it the why and all that, but it's basically, what's the dream outcome? Like, why are we doing this? And I think if you don't know what that is, it's like impossible to measure yourself, to measure your success, the steps along the way, which then means it's harder to take off small bites. So the idea is to go there, help them paint a really clear picture of what that is, and then be there, because this is all built on AI stuff, which makes it really nice because I've built the entire engine for it. So whatever that AI kicks out is based on, my experience. So anyway, very excited about that. And it's not even a launch, it's really like a sneak peek on Thursday. Sent out an email yesterday. I think we've got 30 guys on already. So yeah, the big wins. Very different approach, but ultimately, we're going to get way better results with this approach. I can already see it in one day.
Beautiful. Actually awesome because it builds into our whole business and streamlines a lot of stuff that we're doing at Pilot Insure. So I'm actually very excited to be on this journey. So nice one, France. My quick win is that, go for it,
You had your
JJ.
birthday.
I had a birthday. Made it
Happy
around
birthday.
the sun 43 times in a row. How's that?
You kept that one quiet.
43. So at 42, the 42 is the answer to the universe, the world, and life and everything, right? According to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And so that was last year. So I was already, that was like the, 42. And this year, 43 is a prime number. So 43, I'm in a prime of my life. So that's this year for me.
So Google's got nothing on you, eh?
No. But yeah, so 43, I had a birthday. That was great. It was nice and calm and rustig. But yeah, in fact, on my 43rd birthday, I did a run, and I achieved a pace that I haven't achieved in almost 3 years. So on a 6K run, I was very impressed with that result. And then the other win business-wise is that I've got my 2026 mapped out so beautifully, and I've already started implementing some really nice steps to get it going. One of which is a 250 different newsletters ready to go. I've got 150 of those tweaked and shining and ready and polished and ready to be scheduled and sent, and that's going to be starting from Monday. So I am ready to rock and roll, and yeah, like Franz says, just earn some good bail money this year.
Very good. Well done.
Thanks. And like I said, watch this space. There's big things coming for the Aviation Wealth Club this year. We've got some good stuff happening with different events and different ideas. But mainly what we want to focus on this year for the Aviation Wealth Club is a growth mindset and a growth strategy within Aviation Wealth Club. So I want to encourage everyone in this room to think about how we can grow the Aviation Wealth Club. This little group of people, we want to make it a bit bigger. We want to improve and welcome more people into it. And obviously, the more people we bring into this little community of ours, the more opportunities abound. And I think it's called Metcalfe's law, where every node in a network doesn't just add one more option. It actually exponentially increases the options available to all the other nodes in the network. And so if each of us are a node within the network, and a node is just basically a point where, and JJ will know this from networking, but basically we are a point on this web of a network. Each one of us is one of those, and each one we add doesn't just add one more opportunity, it adds an opportunity for each of us, and then changes the dynamic in a way that we uncover more opportunities. So don't just think about bringing one person here and changing it in a small way. If you just bring one person, we are going to have an amazingly different and bigger opportunity in the Aviation Wealth Club for all of us. So I want to encourage everyone for next Tuesday, bring a visitor, bring someone just to come and enjoy this session with us. I know we've all got very comfortable with each other, and we're now on almost a friendship, or I would say a friendship level. And I think let's bring someone else in just to experience what this hour is like. That you hear me rambling on, and we're sharing our wins, and we get some really good insight for our businesses from Rob. I think really let's think about who we can share that with, and bring that person into the session next week. Who's committed? Who can think of one person that they could bring into this meeting next Tuesday?
Yeah, sweet.
We're looking for aviator, right? Or somebody
An
who wants
aviator. Anyone, an aviator, obviously, but an aviator that owns a business that you think would benefit from being in this room with us next week. JJ, you've got one. Christoph, I know you've got plenty. Francois? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. We'll. I'm just not next week. I won't be attending, unfortunately. But yeah, there's definitely some guys that comes to mind, and yeah, I'll talk to them and let them join.
Beautiful, love it. And you guys have my commitment that I'll be inviting a massive amount of people to come and join us, just to visit and see what it's like, and then see if they want to join. So really, that's the modus operandi for us this year. Okay.
Yeah, Eugene, that just means you need to wear pants in next week's meeting.
Okay, cool.
Long pants, please.
any pants.
That's great. Ach, mooi man. Okay, so Rob, why don't we jump right into it? Last week we started with the next 40 days and the next 40 months, and we all wrote our goals down and what the world would look like for us in those different time frames. And yeah, I'm going to let you carry on. Rob, take it away.
So I've got two parts of this, right? Well, I've actually got three parts, but the first part is, David, can you share or edit out the bit I did last week on the 40 days and 40 months and just cut that for me into because it was about 20 minutes, right? It was a shorter section.
Yeah.
And then could I ask that Francois, Christophe, and JJ, who weren't here last week, take 20 minutes, maybe even 15 minutes to just watch that section and do that thing for yourself, please. Because I want to come back to it, but I want to come back to it when most of us have done it, as opposed to just a few of us have done it, if that's all right.
100%. I'll shorten the recording and edit just that section out and send it onto the group. Okay.
Just a quick and short to do, and it's very self-explanatory, guys. So if you could do that for me, I'd be really appreciative. Interestingly, I did that same session, David, with a friend of ours, Ruan Ricart, and he suddenly realized how short time is, because 40 days seems long, and then he wrote down I think it was the 14th of February, which was like a week or so ago, and one of his goals was to get his first retainer clients, and he's managed to get 2 of them in the first week, simply by identifying the actions he needs to do to go and achieve the goals. And it's dramatically fast-tracked him achieving stuff he thought was months away and brought it really, really close and forward. So that's the first thing to do. But I'm going to share a bit of a chaotic image with you all, and then I'm going to go doodle on the whiteboard, and then I want you to start doodling for yourselves. Doodling is my best professional word of describing what it is we're doing. So, does it work yet? Oh, there we go. So here's a doodle on my whiteboard, which is a bit of a doodle, which hopefully you can all see now. I want us to start focusing on our business architecture, right? And this isn't a topic that we've particularly gone into in any depth in the past, although we've bounced around all over the place. But have you ever felt in your business like there's holes? You do certain things and then they don't, sometimes you get the results you want, other times you don't. Sometimes things seem to work and other times they don't. Some customers become easier to bring in, other ones feel harder, and you feel like there's holes in your business. Now, in honesty, I think all of us would put our hand up and go, yes, me. Most of those holes is because we haven't asked ourselves enough what and how questions with regards to how our business actually works. And we haven't drawn it out as an architect would do for a building for themselves. And that's because we know we should do some marketing, but then we don't really have a mechanism to review the impact of the marketing. We know we should do some sales, but we don't really have a mechanism for that. And then we're also not too sure how the marketing, some people quickly jump from marketing into sales and other people just seem to disappear. And then how do we look after them? And your business architecture starts to really, really help you squeeze the lemon of your business properly and ensure that all the drops of the juice drop into the glass as opposed to dropping on the floor and evaporating. And so over Christmas, I went back to Kingdompreneur and I started taking the structure I'm going to share with you today and going, okay, what am I losing and where? How am I, what are the experiences? So for instance, one of the things that we were doing is this top bit of our business was working really, really well, right? We're getting lots of views, lots of engagement, and lots of people were engaging in the free thing that we did here. This is the new version, but the old version for us was a giveaway a free program, right? 8 hours online learning, a workbook, this, that, and the other. And then the sales team would go and call the people and say, hey, you've just engaged in this, blah, blah, blah. And the feedback I was getting from the salespeople is, these people still don't know what we do. They still don't know who we are. They haven't watched the program, this, that, and the other. And all that really fed back to me was, we were doing a great job to excite people. And the moment that we got them beyond excited and to do something, they didn't take action. And therefore they didn't know who we were. And so the sales guys effectively were cold calling as opposed to warm calling. And so that in my architecture exposed a problem around this bit of the business, right? People weren't engaging in the free thing. They were just like, you know, that auto-populate on Facebook, which just puts your name, email address, and phone number in it automatically, you click go. We were getting their contact information, but I could have got their contact information for free anyway. So, and they'd kind of forgotten who we were. So that then got me to go and adjust the business and say, we're going to start doing weekly webinars, and then we're going to start following up with the people who attend. Right? And if somebody sat through the webinar for an hour and 60 to 90 minutes, they become a educated buyer as opposed to just a random person whose information we've got. And so I want all of you to start mapping out in your doodles how your business works, but I don't want you to try and replicate, well, I want you to come up with your version of this, but I'm actually going to draw on the whiteboard the process that you go through in order to go and take the person from becoming aware of you at the top here to actually, for me, becoming a client down here, right? And what that looks like. And there's 5 steps. And then you can start to identify, this is what I do, and it'll all become transparent. Is that cool? Any questions or observations so far before we wander on? Is it as clear as mud or as clear as day, or what's going on in your head?
Visibility at 16 kilometers.
Excellent. What's it? Is it a CAVU? Clear above visibility limited.
Ceiling and visibility okay.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a really cool American clothing brand called CAVU, Clear Above Visibility Unlimited, KAVU. It's a very cool brand. Anyway, different story for a different day. So I think, David, you're going to have to find a way of pinning my screen so people can see the whiteboard if they haven't done already.
I think I've pinned it. See if it is Rob's screen big for everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. So there is 5 stages that a customer has to go through on their buying journey before they even get as far as the product. And so let's go and talk about those for your journey to start with. So the first thing is they've got to become aware that you actually exist in the first place. Right? Make sense? Like they've got to go, oh, look, I didn't know there was a David LaRue on planet Earth, and now I know there's a David LaRue, right? So we've got to become aware. And they have to go from aware to consider. Let's put that a bit lower. To consider that David LaRue might be a cool dude to hang out with and do something with at some point in time, right? They have to consider that. That has to come into their head. They've then got to be educated about not just who he is, but the sort of things that he does that they might be interested in. Right? While all of us have an industry that says everybody needs, like all farmers need fertilizer and seed, right? If they are in a certain form of agriculture. Everybody who wants to be a pilot needs to learn how to fly. Every industry badly uses the need word. The truth is, whilst the industry says that, it's also the industry's trap and the industry's lie. Because if you get somebody aware but they haven't gone through, considered and educated, it doesn't matter whether they need what you've got or not. They're simply going to be a resistant, reluctant buyer, right? What that does is it decreases referral volumes, it breaks down rapport, decreases the likelihood of sale, and you just keep pouring money into a hole or effort into a hole. And without knocking David or Franz, because they actually do it differently, traditional financial advisors try and go from step 1 to step 5 without bothering with the middle bits, right? And most financial advisors are broke. I'm going to put that out there. Luckily, not Franz or David, but most are broke. In fact, the average income for a financial advisor in South Africa is 28,500 rand a month.
Really? Is that what are the guys doing?
Yeah, and they want somebody who's got money to invest to take them seriously. I'm sorry, if you can't make 100K a month for yourself, why on earth would I take you seriously about what you're going to do with my money? Yeah, so the top 10% of financial advisors in South Africa earn 2 million rand a year or more. Top 10%, just so you can box that in. So anyway, we're not here to talk about financial advisors. It's just a world I know very well.
Like a doggy.
So they need to be educated. They don't need to be engaged. And they don't need to be converted. Right? There needs to be a sign on the dotted line, let's press go conversation. Now, if we go back and look at my weird and wonderful squiggle diagram, you can kind of see the elements of that on here. So we can see at the top here how we've got awareness being built out of organic social media and some paid for social media. That's putting me out there, right? The paid social media talks very much more about the actual problem we solve. Like, here's the opportunity, here's the thing. It's like more of an advert. And we then offer an education part, which is come and hang out with us and find out more about what we do. You know, David originally started doing this with his pub quizzes, right? It was like this process, right? It was part of that awareness, come along, meet David, get to know David, find out he's a financial advisor, let David buy them a coffee. You know, it's that, some of you have probably been through that process, and the safety symposiums as well, right? So that's the educated part, is getting people to understand who you are, what you do, and how you're a solution to a problem they want to be removed. We can then engage them in a sales process of some sort, which is, you know, and I suppose which is the let's have a cup of coffee and a chat. I'm not going to try and sell you. What I actually want to do is have a chat with you and find out whether I like you, you like me, whether I really want to bother solving the problem that you've got, whether you want me to really solve the problem that you've got, like how interested are you? Let's be honest about this. And then at the end of that, we end up with a conversion, which for me, you can't see, but it actually kind of sits through here, a conversion process where one of my sales closers will close and we'll get somebody into one of the things that we offer. Right? That's where it's where the contract gets signed, the money hits the table. And so, if we were to play with that in other words, we've got some, here, marketing, and then here, sales. Now, not only can we then decide what the activities are that we're going to do here. So how do I get out and get awareness from my ideal client group that I exist? That's an activity. right? Something that we choose to do. For me, organic social media and paid for social media. We can then start thinking about, cool, I generate awareness. What do I create as a glue between each level? So, for instance, people who engage in one of the 3 things that Kingdompreneur does, so they get to hear, automatically go into a twice weekly 40 email 20-week sequence, which doesn't sell them, it just keeps educating them again and saying, if you'd like a conversation to find out more, click here. Educate, 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 educate. Those emails talk about, this is not just what we do, but about how to be a Christian business owner and what God's involvement in your business really is, and the way that non-Christians go about building businesses and how it fails them, and how we don't have to fail as Christian business owners, and so on and so forth. And it educates the whole way through. It's not a sales pitch, it's a value pitch and an invitation. Because we know that people take 14 to 21 engagements to buy from us on average. Interestingly, we did this in one of my clients' businesses. His name is Rulolf Quinn. He's got a software business called QuinnPay. And Rulolf does all of this, and we built it out for him with the glues in place. He gets 60% of his buyers out of an email sequence of 40 out of email number 21. On the nose, 60% of buyers buy them. Right? What this also starts to do is it allows us to track how are things working. Because if you're losing a lot of distance between, let's say, educate and engage just there, for me, I'm going to go back to the email sequence and track the email open rate, the read rates, all those other things that great software give you, and see, oh, well, we get to email 6 and then people stop reading the email. I better go back and have a look at what's in email 6 that's corrupting the process. It allows me to go measure and improve my system. Right. Any questions? Or observations or thoughts?
None I can think of at the moment.
Crikey, it makes sense, which is horrible.
What's the glue between the first 2 stages? The aware, consider, educate. What are those 2 first glues? Are those also emails?
Well, maybe, because it will change business to business. So, for instance, if Franz his awareness work is nothing to do with social media, he's literally going around farm to farm introducing himself to farmers. Right? The glue could be a series of WhatsApp messages followed by a phone call of, it was so cool what you showed me and I really love that bit of your farm. Can I fly over next week? I'll wave to you and wag on my wings. I'll come over at 10 a.m. I'll take a picture of it for you. Right? That's a glue. It could be paid for social media advertising where we can retarget somebody who's watched this. We can retarget them with something else. It will change business to business dependent upon what it is we do for the awareness stage. Maybe we go to big, the awareness thing we do is we go to big, like industry exhibitions.
Yeah.
We collect people's email addresses. Well, then the glue to consider could be phone calls, it could be emails, all sorts of things.
It's communication. It's a form of communication, and the more creative you make that communication and more valuable, the stickier that glue becomes.
And the more personal, the more love you share within it. Because if we just do more emails, we just end up as the same as everybody else who sends lots of emails. So in my glue here, I've got a series of human touch points. where one of my sales openers or one of my team will just call the person and say, hey, I see that you got this. You've probably seen the emails over the past week. Have you read them? Have you this, that, and the other? Love to know more about your business. And there's a human touch point. And when you care to put the human touch points in, it makes the value much higher. But equally, if you look at most businesses, David, we put the human touch points in unmeasurable ways at unmeasurable times. So we, at random, allocate 2 hours every Friday to touch, as opposed to after email 7, for instance.
Yeah, like in a sequence.
Yeah, that's it. And when things happen at random, they are not controllable, not just adjustable, and not improvable. So I'd love to know from everybody else, like, what questions it is you've got, but I'd really love you to get a piece of paper and a pen out and start doing your like bubble and line diagrams for yourself, and start working out, what is it that I already do, right? And what is it that's maybe missing? Or what is it where I'm not getting that my ratio from A to B, like consideration to education, looks horrible? So for instance, sure, late 2024, I was doing a webinar for Kingdompreneur, and my show up, which was like my consider online engagement marketing into educate stage, the show up rate for the webinar was sucky at best. And that feedback sent me back to the drawing board to have a sexier webinar that was more appealing to people, and to go and have a better glue of emails, WhatsApp, etc., motivating to people to attend. You know, I'd expected that if I sent people a diary link with a like an online calendar link and a URL, and then sent them one WhatsApp, that they'd actually turn up. And what I found is that 1 in 10 turned up. And when I improved the sexiness of the education thing, and I improved the communication glue, like the frequency of it, and the variability, email and WhatsApp, and more often, and more inspirational within those messages, my turn-up rate was more. You know, most business owners don't use an online calendar system, especially in South Africa, by the way. Currently within Kingdompreneur, we're measuring that as about 7 out of 10 don't use an online calendar system.
I
So we
definitely get in contact with those folks.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, JJ, they have full access to an online calendar system and refuse to use it.
Everybody does. It's free on Google.
Yeah, they've got Google, they've got Microsoft Outlook, they've got everything, and they refuse to use it.
I don't know how they keep track of anything. How do they know when they're supposed to do what?
They don't, and that's why they're broke. And that's why they miss sales meetings and all sorts of things. And they're still working on pen and paper in a diary.
Is there a specific age group that this relates to? Or not really?
Age group and industry type. So you find that under 50, white collar is highly likely to use an online diary now. Any industry that involves anything to do with blue collar, highly unlikely to use an online diary, regardless of age. So electricians, plumbers, yeah. And the other thing we find quite frequently is most industries don't practice their own preach. So I had a sales call booked with a marketing business yesterday that's struggling, and they didn't turn up. And the fact is, then I spoke to them on the phone. Oh, no, we haven't got round to setting our online calendars up for ourselves yet to remind everybody to turn up for things. I'm like, hang on a second, you're a digital marketing business and you're not using digital stuff. Like there's the problem in your business. Number one, you're not practicing your own preach, which is wonderful from my side. But so I think what it does is it helps us start to tackle the assumptions.
On that aware step, is it to make people aware of your company, your services, both?
No, that's just aware of your company, like your brand. It exists.
Okay.
And also aware of that you know what problem they're facing and that you've got a solution, but you don't mention the service or the product.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you mention, until you get to between educate and engaged, the service name or the product name, somebody automatically starts to decide whether or not they want it or not, or whether or not they need it or not. And what happens is they make an uneducated buying decision for themselves before they've got to go and sit with somebody who can educate them. So the craziest thing on planet Earth to do is to mention in David's place life insurance at any point in here. Craziest thing to do, because people are like, yeah, no, but I'm 41, I'm not going to die, right? And they fall out, or can't afford it, it must cost 20 grand a month. Well, maybe, but it doesn't have to. And so they start to make uneducated decisions for themselves. The place to talk about your product or service type, actually, I'm trying to find my different color pen out there, actually fits in here. There, maybe a bit in here, but definitely in here. Because the moment you mention I do this, I sell that, or I have this, I do whatever it is somebody makes not only a value decision about do they want it or need it, or having not engaged with you, they also make an assumptive purchasing price decision of it must. So for instance, becoming a pilot and having a plane, right? This is my story. My story of this is I'd assumed my entire 49, almost 50 years of life, having seen planes, little planes, big planes, airports, private pilots, commercial pilots, so on and so forth. I'm very aware of flying and planes. I'd love to be able to do it one day. That's really cool. I've got quite educated about like planes cost a lot of money and whatever else. And I believed that all of it was well outside of my affordability range. I then went and spent the weekend in Bella Bella with David, suddenly engaged with a human being around it, saw a plane for sale for like 350,000 Rand or something like that. I'm like, seriously? And my car's worth 4 times that. Like, is it that cheap? And then David's like, well, you might not want to buy that one. It might fall out of the sky. But, you know, for about R1,000,000 Rand, you can get one that won't fall out of the sky. Right, and then 20 grand a month on average to qualify over 2 years to become a pilot. You know, that suddenly it jumped well within my purchasing range. And so the moment you mention the thing you sell here, somebody will rule themselves out unless you can be the absolute cheapest in your industry and bravely put a figure in here, which is like 20 million Rands worth of life insurance for only 1,000 Rand a month, or only 500 Rand a month, bearing in mind you're going to get the cheapest and cheap clients who you can never upsell at that point in time. And so this is here is the service, product and price conversation here. in the blue. Up until then, we're just talking about their problems, their dreams. JJ, in your case, the concept of technology and software and what automation can actually do. Right? And that then gives you the opportunity in person to have a product and price conversation where as they squirm, you personally can move with their squirm. Right? You can observe it, react to it appropriately, and support them on their buying journey to actually converting with you. Now, this can go all the way from Eugene's house that he rents, or flats.
Property business, yeah, his house, yeah.
His house is property business. You go all the way from that, all the way through to a billion-rand corporation and everywhere in between. So,
I'm curious to know how the guys identify parts of their business according to this framework you've put up here, Rob.
So, Rob, this is for new clients.
And old, because if you want to upsell your clients, right? Let's say that they currently buy seed from you, but not fertilizer. As in your thing, is this then serves the purpose of taking them from converted back into aware and drop them back through. Right? And even if they buy seed and fertilizer from you this year, this whole thing goes back to because you want them to buy again next year, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
And so your awareness would change. Your structure might change for the repeat purchase part, because the awareness might be, look how great your crops are this year. They're the best they've been for 10 years. High five you. I hope you're buying yourself a new Land Cruiser. By the way, forward orders for next year are starting now. Great deal if you order early, blah, 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 blah. When can I come for a coffee? So your repeats purchase cycle is also works on the same process. It's just feeding them back into the top again, into a different drop down.
Okay. Thanks, Rob.
No worries. Can people identify in their business where you've got things that you've got in place, but any gaps for yourself?
We've often said that we don't take good enough advantage of the leads that we get at our events. So, and that's the glue. You know, we're getting tons of registrations and people meeting us and, you know, going to the President's Trophy and meeting all those people. And, you know, there's the conversion of meeting them. Well, the process of meeting them to actually getting an engagement with them and then converting them into a client. There's not enough of that happening, considering the amount of leads that are so applicable to France and Mars business.
And I think you can have a look at especially with the Captain's Circle table. Circle, and the Aviation Wealth Club. You could then think about how those become the education, like a webinar on those become the education tool and engagement tool afterwards. Here's a great thing you can come to. And it's not becoming a member yet of either of those. It's the 20-minute, 30-minute presentation or webinar that talks to them about all of the challenges that a private pilot faces and what it is you think they might like to do in the future and how it is that they don't know what they don't know and so on and so forth. And then the same for commercial, obviously. And making it your mission to educate them about how you know their world better than they do and how you've got it figured out.
That's certain on the the captain circle side, I would say. There's a lot of and I think that's France, what you were saying earlier as well, is like, you know, the guys know they don't know what they don't know, and then they also know that they don't have the time to figure it out and to do it themselves.
That's it. And so that then it becomes your education thing, and it becomes if you'd like to find out more, you can always need to say, I've got the missing pieces of the jigsaw puzzle in your education part. And if you'd like a coffee with me to explore those missing pieces, and I'll actually give them to you in the meeting, which means in your case you introduce them to loss of license and this, that, and it, like they're the missing pieces. Like here's a way of booking a coffee, and then you can also phone them and follow up with them, obviously, as well, and book a coffee.
Yeah,
but it's that nurturing bit, like here and here, these two glues. That's where most businesses lose 80% of their leads. Is in the nurturing, and that's usually not down to a lack of willingness, it's down to a lack of systems and structure. Because you could quite easily put all of your leads into a email sequence, inviting them to an education thing, out of the education thing, educating them some more, keep inviting them for coffee, and then phoning them every 6 weeks and saying, hey, are you ready for that coffee yet? Remember me, I'm David. Or, hey, are you coming to my events? Or, hey, are you coming to the safety symposium, the pub quiz, the whatever else, any of the air shows that you're at, love to see you.
yeah.
For almost all of us in business, we need to adopt the attitude that every ideal customer will be our customer one day. We just haven't shown them enough love in this journey yet for them to move to the next stage. So in JJ's industry, everybody who could buy a corporate Microsoft license as a starting point in the country, so I don't know how many users that looks like, can be his customer. It's just there's not been enough love in this system shown to them yet for them to get as far as letting him actually meet them and put a proposal in front of them and take them on the journey.
I think the biggest problem I have is the aware factor. I'm doing way too little there.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, JJ, because it's a drop down of, I won't say 10 to 1, and that's normally we'd say, let's say 10 to 1 is that, you know, 100 people are aware creates 10 considered, creates 1 educated, creates 0.1 engaged.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then you can start to say, okay, well, what volumes do I need to do? So if I want to get 1 sale, I probably need to do 1,000 aware to get 100 to consider me, to get 10 to be educated by me, to get 1 to enter into my sales cycle, and I back myself to close them. The really interesting thing is when you follow this sequence, your sales conversion ratios get ridiculously high. Like ridiculously high. In most industry, we'll close 8 or 9 out of 10 people, because they are that into us and what we do and having their problem solved by the time we actually engage them in person. They've already bought in their mind, and now we just need to put a reasonable proposition in front of them at a reasonable price. So what I'd like you to do this week is watch the 20-minute video if you haven't and play with that, but go and have over a cup of coffee, literally 10 or 20-minute doodle on a piece of paper. If you
Architect our business, draw out our business process.
Yeah, like come up. You don't have to copy what I've done, but build your, wherever it's gone to, build your version of this. And maybe you could start by saying, well, okay, maybe you could do it in 2 colors. Right? What you're going to go, well, I've got this, high five me, and then you go, like David just said, we're losing from the leads at the events, we're losing a lot of conversations and sales opportunities. Well, that becomes a different color of, I need to get creative and think of a new way of engaging those people. That becomes a different color because it's the thing I need to add into my process or system. The best thing is, once you've got this and you work this, A, it can all become numbers based, and B, it becomes refinable by you. You can go, okay, well, cool, I've got these emails and WhatsApps just here that we send out, but we're still not getting people attend the weekly webinar. That means I need to go back to my emails and WhatsApps and all my follow-up to refine them and make them punchier and better and maybe more volume of them and whatever else to get people to attend. Because they were obviously interested enough to sign up in the first place.
Yeah.
And now I've got like a full steering wheel for my business, as opposed to a steering wheel, but it feels like the tires aren't joined onto the wheels properly or something like that as we steer. This doesn't have to take a lot of time. I think this thing is on my whiteboard here, but I literally think it was me just having those 5 titles and go, right, I'm going to doodle. It came up in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think almost the quicker you jot it down, the more it will come from the truest space in your mind where it actually exists. You don't have to overthink it too much. If you just go, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens, then your actual structure of how things are now will actually emerge.
And then this allowed me to go to my team this week and go, this is what we're doing, this is why we're adapting this is where I need you to focus on why. This is your importance. So Jess, who's doing most of my copywriting at the moment, I got her to go and focus actually on this week, the emails and WhatsApps, which is why I raised it. And I'm like, she can now see that her improvement on this actually means we have more people attend, which means then we can get more of these. And so she now fully appreciates where she is fitting at the moment as a cog in the system, as opposed to an importance cog, because if she doesn't get her bit right, the next bit fails. That she now becomes not just an administrator, but a critical part of the ecosystem, as opposed to just the admin person.
Yeah.
And now she feels much more important about what she's doing, and she understands that she has got a really important part to play, just not a part to play.
Excellent.
So I'm quickly going to ask one thing you've learned and one thing you've liked for everybody from today's conversation, and can you commit 10 minutes to doing this in the next week? Those are my 3 questions. So quickly, let's go around the room. David, who should we start with?
JJ's unmuted himself.
I've learned and been reminded that I'm not doing enough to do anything about the aware side, and I need to very quickly go and get this sorted out. I've already got some ideas and excitement around it, but dust the cobwebs and let's get to it.
Cool. I love it. Thank you, JJ.
I would say for me, like you said, Rob, maybe, with the seed business, I do a lot of business, but to make the guys aware of the chemical business. So, and then just, because it's another business, it's a whole other business. So it's like doing your presentation the first time with the client. He's not comfortable with you in a chemical way. He's comfortable with you in a seed way. So that is something that I picked up, and how to show clients love. I mean, that is very, very important, I think, because I do reoccurring business, connect with them more via WhatsApp and educate them on new products maybe, or whatever, in which season you are. So yeah, definitely there I've learned a lot. Thanks.
And Francois, just remember, love is, we like the guys we braai with, we often, who are customers, often they stay as customers. And I think we often think that business is business, but really business is just a human relationship where love exchanges done well. And so more business will happen around a braai, and more business security happens over a braai than it does over maybe an email or a WhatsApp.
Thanks. Thanks, Rob.
Christoph, how about yourself, my friend?
Yeah, I think also, our business, it's most is new clients, but there's definitely also an area where it's existing clients, and it's even other flight schools. So I've realized now that we are getting in good relationship with other flight schools, which we normally would think it's competition. But if you work it out, you support each other, and I even things that they can't do, they send their people over to us, and that's also that's a kind of existing clients that can also be beneficial to us, and we have to keep the relationship engaged with them, also inform them of what's new, what we do, how we do stuff. So that's there's a lot of things that you don't think about until sit here and listen to what that's just things that went through my mind, what we can do. And I don't just need to focus on getting new students from overseas. It's locally there's also opportunity.
100%. Love it. Who are we going to go to next? Franz. Oh no, Eugene, sorry.
To me, it was just an interesting part of the five steps to actually get someone converted to be interested in your product. That was did not know that.
Cool. And for your property business, this is the exact same structure you need to go use. And obviously Property 24 for the rental market and Facebook and whatever else can be a great way of generating awareness, but there's actually a lot more that you can do. So have a play with that, because it's very, very relevant.
For me, it's interesting how I feel like every year the amount of touch points needed just increase.
It's obscene. And I'm launching Kingdompreneur in Texas. We've got the first 10 clients, and we launch first week of February. The volume of touch points and awareness there is probably five times higher than South Africa, just because of the sheer noise of marketing in the States that is in people's face the entire time. And it's quite surprising, and you have to get creative with it, because just sending more emails just pisses people off.
Yeah, it's standing out in that kind of market it's tough. Like you got to do something, almost got to do something like really bold for that to happen.
Yeah, I'm back to old school. So we are currying and posting things to people that arrive in their mail, like gifts and reminders, and a proper, like an old school invitation card, like kids do it for birthdays, right? Like they used to do like a written invitation. There's that sort of stuff for like their first session. That we're doing all of that stuff because it stands out, and doing it done well, in color, in your face, so on and so forth, is really, really what's required for people to remember you. Otherwise, gone.
Yeah. Nice.
David, what about yourself? One piece for you.
I've learned that the glue is different to the aware and consider and educate content, and I've just thought about the way that I need to slightly tweak and restructure the way all my 250 emails are not just going to be randomized; they need to be sequenced and actually be more tailored to everybody that they get to. So yeah. Make that glue very sticky.
Let's next week talk about the idea of a quiz. Let's talk about that next. So can somebody remind me about that next week? A quiz. Okay.
Idea of a quiz.
Yeah, it's a money making machine.
Nice.
Right, I've got to disappear. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Rob. Good job. Cheers, everybody.
Just have a good week.
Well done.
Yeah, cheers, everyone. Have a good week. Good luck.
Cheers, Christoph. You too, man.
Ciao. God bless.
Thanks, cheers. Okay, bye-bye.
All right.